Hello, how you doing today? I'm Minister Louis J. Armstrong with Cross Rock Incorporated, organization that known as the Rising Sun. Myself and Corinthia Davis are bringing these videos to you guys, so y'all can be able to see things in a new light. We are bringing you Hebrew typology, and this is a genre that have been used over 1,800 years ago. And if you understand what Hebrew typology is, know that Hebrew typology is something that existed when, at the time when you had prophets coming along and God gave them revelations, and the revelation was put in the scriptures. We normally say the initiates. The initiates had them put in the scripture, and they were put in the scripture, and then it was sought, God had sought it where someone later come on the scene and they could reveal the depth of what that scripture is saying, or what that mythology is saying, or what they say the esoteric writing is saying. Now, this subject is known as how to choose a candidate. And to give you an example, it's very important to know this. This is something that have not been taught to the Christian church or the world in general. This lecture is not only for church folks right now. This lecture is for everybody in America, everybody in the world who choose to be a part of a political position, but this message is for you to understand the sacred geometry or sacred knowledge of the, what we call, it's a term called tetragrammaton, the arts of the numbers and the arts of how this universe works with mankind and our mind, and how what we call the Akashic records play a part in you understanding things. People don't know the importance of the sun and the importance of the science of this planet. And they need to know that. That way they can understand how God works. You'll see in the scripture many times, you'll see words like the rising sun, or you'll see like the sun, S-U-N, of man. And Malachi stuff is trying to point you to something, a deeper knowledge, a deeper understanding of what this is all about. Now, that part, you could watch our videos. You could click Louis Jerome Armstrong video, or you're going to pick up Louis Armstrong, of course, but then you're going to always pick up, and you come up with a topic, many different topics. We have a playlist, and you can find that playlist, but you can look up Louis Jerome Armstrong, L-E-W-I-S, Louis Jerome Armstrong on YouTube video. Look at something about Judgment of America, look at something about the Exodus and all this other stuff, and you'll see things, the Merovingian Code and all that. You'll see all these things. You'll see videos on all these different subjects that we teach about. So this is very important. Now, I didn't know this 20 years ago, and when it came to me in the Einstein type theory. When Einstein talked about relativity, he showed that, and they talk about what, zero gravity, zero understanding of things. He said that this thing came to him like that. You see, Tesla always say that our mind is a receiver, and through our mind there's no depth on what we can know, because there's a record of everything in the past, present, future is among mankind, but he don't know it because he never been taught that. But our ancestors, through the Sanskrit and other books, the Bible and other books, they have taught that, but it have not been taught to the American people or to the average individual at this time of human history. We're going to take you a little deeper now. Most people don't know that there's magic, real magic that exists. God wants you to know more about yourself. He wants you to know more about your social, political, economic, moral, and DNA environment of your life. He wants you to know these things now. It's time for you to know more about how God has been dealing with you and how God wants to deal with you, so you can be more prosperous in your thought, more prosperous in your life, in every facet of life. We always teach that there's 5 different ways to see life with the 5 laws of God. That's moral, political, economic, social, and DNA. If you really study that closely, from the cradle to the grave, there's only 5 areas of life that we operate in. And whoever controls those 5 areas of life, they control your life. And you got to understand that. So when you begin to understand that there's a political part of your life that you must understand as a Christian and non-Christian, then you'll know that this type of knowledge is necessary for you to be head of the game. Now, right here, this is entitled, How to Choose a Candidate. Okay, how to choose a candidate. If you was going to oppose the vote, we know that we've been told to study about these individuals. That's a good thing to do, study about them. You know, but we can study so much, but ain't so much we're going to learn about them. But where's the science that God have said, well, God, look, John, look, Bill, look, Ann, look, Danny, look, Mary, look, whoever. I want to show you something. And God will never say whoever now. That's Lewis saying whoever. I want to show you something. I want to show you something. I want to show you something. Okay, so we're going to go back and just imagine this God is trying to show you something. I'm going to play a part of a messenger of God, which that's what I am. I'm going to play a messenger of God, and a messenger of God that's bringing you something that you've never seen before, but you need to understand this because you'll be able to see what they're doing better and how God is operating with these individuals. Now, I must say this. Although I'm talking about candidates, this fit for every person's life, each and every person's life. I'm going to say this at the bottom. I want you to always remember that everyone's name is divinely chosen. Everyone's name is divinely chosen. I don't care what your name. It can sound good, it can sound whatever, but your name is divinely chosen. And people joke with me and say, well, what if his name was so-and-so? You know, we got in the South, we got people called, got nicknames and stuff like that. And they mentioned this nickname, I don't want to bring that one up. I say it'll be divinely chosen too, no matter what it sounds like. And we have to understand this. Now, I'm going to get into an example. I want to show you an example of how this works. This is what I'm doing right now, showing you an example that in this election or any election that you participate in and you want to know about and check them out from using numerology, from using esoteric writing, you'll be able to find out about these individual people. This is very important. This is a science that have not been introduced in the political arena to the common people, to people in general. This is a science that even some of the ones at the top don't know about. God revealed the science to me, and it's for me to reveal that science to you so you can be able to see this. Now, when we begin to see individuals, we got to know in anybody. You could do your life like that, your family life member like that, or just have fun with this with your friends. But remember, you're going to need someone at some time in these calculations, you're going to need someone like myself to check it. To check it. Because we're dealing with energy. We're dealing with the Hermetic principles. We're dealing with sacred geometry. We're dealing with the golden ratio. We're dealing with the Fibonacci series. All these things is tied in the science of your life. It's about your life. It's about your culture. It's about your environment that you need to begin to understand. Now, if you look at English gematria, we use in English gematria, you see A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. Down below, you got N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Here, you start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you'll get the letter, you get the number value to the letters of the individual's name. Okay? Also, you need to use the golden ratio. You're going to see me use the golden ratio like 1.618 many times in here like that. But sometimes you got occasion when you got individuals have two careers, then you're going to need to use the Lewis code, which is, I didn't put it up there, but it's 1.68. You're going to leave that one out, and it's going to be 1.68. I'm going to put that up there because I need you to understand these things as we teach this lesson. The Lewis code is 1.68. This is a revelation. These are revelations that you have right here. These are things that your scholars have never, ever had or knew about. We are going into a fifth dimensional time in the age of Aquarius, leaving out the age of Pisces, the age of deception, and you need to resonate, you need to vibrate, you need to have that energy necessary, to that rhythm necessary to get to the next level. Tesla said this. He said that the more our mind is focusing on the unseen phenomena of life, of this universe, the more our mind focuses on the unseen, then we could be able to resonate, or we could be able to vibrate to higher levels of consciousness. That way we could be able to, technology will go so far and all this stuff will go so far, it'll be beyond measure. And that's something that we haven't done as much. Look within ourselves and be able to see who we really are, the people that God has created us to be. We have brilliant minds, and once we tap into the accosted knowledge, the universal knowledge that God has put here, I always admire when Nikola Tesla said that when he talked about the accosted energy, what they call through the ether. I really don't like to use the ether, but it's connected because it's a little bit bigger than just saying the ether. God has blessed me to be able to see certain things, and I'm passing that knowledge on to you. Now, we're going to deal with Barack Obama. I'm going to use Barack Obama as an example because, first of all, it's easy. Okay, number one, don't go grab the hardest one. Donald Trump was hard. Barack Obama is very easy. It's the typical way that you basically going to be doing this the most, using Barack Hussein Obama name. Okay, now we got Barack Hussein Obama. Barack is 15. When you add these numbers up, you come down, you put the B, you got the B there, you got 2, you got the A, 1, you got the R, 5, you got the A, 1, you got the C, 3, you got the K, it's 3. This is how you do this, and you go on down the line. You do the numbers, and then you take the date of his birth. It's August the 4th, 1961. You just take the date, not these other numbers, just take the date. And you take all these numbers and you add it up, and his number is 61. That's what his number is. 61 is Barack Obama's number. Then you take the golden ratio. You take the golden ratio, 1.618, and you divide it into 61, you get 37.700564. Now this is very important when you get to that. This is very important. When you get to that, you're going to see this. Now, why is this important? Because this is the energy. See, the golden ratio, if you visit some of my lectures, you can understand that I talk a lot about the golden ratio in numerology, in sacred geometry. The golden ratio, how the scientists have said, the golden ratio is a number that help create and shape the universe. Golden ratio is connected into everything. And we need to understand that. It's in building, it's in the shape of our face, it's in the spiral. You find it with the Fibonacci series. You find all this stuff. The golden ratio is a very important number. And we need to know that. And as we begin to know that, we'll understand how you use the sacred geometry and necessary to build the ideology of how God used his initiates to perform the works on this world when they created it. And we see that. It always was, let us make man in our image. Let us do that, and let us do that. God is a very powerful, smart individual God, and we need to know that. Now, when you begin to see that, you'll see that you take 61, see what I got? 61, 1961, and this first number is 37. You take 1961 plus 37 equal 1994. That's the first number that you have to see. 1998. That's the first one you got to see. Okay, and this is why I really got this board here, because sometimes I'm talking and I may call a number different, but you see the board. Okay, now 1961 plus 37 is 1998. 1998 must be an important number in Barack Obama's life. And when you go and check the history of it, get on your cell phone and ask for Barack Obama, information about Barack Obama, ask what Barack Obama did in 1998. It's going to show you the things that he was involved in 1998. And one thing he was involved in, he was an Illinois senator. in 1998. That showed that this was his political career. It was before he was a U.S. Senator. Okay. Now, when we go do this, 1998, you're going to keep the next one going to flow. You're going to start out with 1998, and you're going to go to the next number. A lot of times we'll start from the middle number. We'll use 6 numbers, the 6 decimals over. You got the 7 0, you got the 0 8, and you got the 6 5. Is how we would do this. We always add 2 numbers together when we do this. Sometimes we'll have to add the one number of each one. Okay. So it's not always using 2 numbers of each. Sometimes it'll change. That's why you need individuals who know this in order to give you more information when you get in a situation where you feel like you're stuck. But basically, you could see this and you could do this. No problem. Okay, we're gonna make it hard. We're gonna make this easy. Okay, you got 8, the number 8. We're gonna use 8. Okay, you got 8. You got 1998 plus 8, 2006. What happened in Barack Obama's life in 2006 that was real important to his career? In 2006, Barack Obama was a U.S. Senator, United States Senator, and he also got a Grammy in spoken word. In spoken word. So you can see that clear part in Obama's life, especially spoken word. You see that when he got to be president, this guy had a voice, he had a way of saying words that he captivate the audience of individuals. You see tears coming out of eyes. One of the famous showing is that when Jesse Jackson was at his inauguration, and you seen tears coming out of Jesse Jackson's eyes. That showed just how much influence he was with his words and his talking and his speech. And these things play a part in individuals' life. And this is why God gave them what we call the sparks. Everyone has sparks in their life. Everyone has a spark in their life. But they need to be able to know this, because if they know it before time, they'll know some other things that they need to do later in life. And as you visit my videos, I'll talk about that. But right now, the only thing I really want to deal with now is that this is election time. There's always election time somewhere or another. But this is election time, and you need to know how to choose these candidates. What do God see? What do the nature? Because everything mixed with nature, universal order. God, nature, mankind, universe, all of it's tied together. Now, what we begin to see in this, we begin to see that in, where we at now? In 2006 was the time that he was a U.S. Senator, and he also got an M in spoken word. But the next one, let's go with the next one. Let's deal with the, we got the 8 there, let's deal with the 11. 6 and 5 is 11. 1998 plus 11 is 2009. What happened in 2009 in Barack Obama's life? Every American knows, because he was a president at that time. I have said he was the first black president, and boom, they bombard my site and said, oh no, he wasn't the first black president, this guy here. Sometimes when you say something, you know about that other guy, but you know that he was the first black president in our time. In the last, since slavery time, I said it like that. He was the first black president. I want to use that. I don't want to use the other guy. I'm not respecting the other individual for his strides and what he did. But Barack Obama was the first black president in our time. I'm gonna use that. Now, Barack Obama became the United States president. Now, when you know this stuff, and let's go back in time a little bit. Barack Obama was the first black United States president. He was the first black United States president. When you know this, you already know he's going to spark. Now, that don't necessarily mean he's going to win, but it do mean if ain't nobody else in the election sparking like him, there's a big chance he may be the one that win, and nobody else was sparking in that election like Barack Obama was sparking at that time. And he had a track record of things he had did before. Now, you don't have to be put in a political office in order to win a political office. Let's get that straight too. If it's your spark, it's your time. You're the only one sparking in that time. 9 times out of 10, especially if you're a front runner, 9 times out of 10, that's gonna be your election. Now, let's go to the next one. The next one is gonna deal with 7 and 8. We got 8 here. And we got, what we got here? We did 37, we did 8, and we did 11. Okay, I left 7 out. Okay, 7 went back here. Okay, 7 should be in between there. 1998 plus 7, that show you, that one was 1998 plus 7, the one that should be right in there, that show you 2005. That's actually was the year that he became the United States Senator of the from the state of Illinois. Okay, that's what it was. And the next one was the spoken word, because he was already a United States Senator and he got the Emmy on the spoken word. Okay. Hey, this thing is straight. It don't lie. And we got to understand this knowledge. Take your time and look at it and understand it. I left that one out, and I'm telling you, I left the 7 out. The 7 here, and the 7 have to be counted as well. The 7 should be in between this one here. Okay? So what you do, you just go 1 year back from the 8, and you're going to have 2005, and 2005 going to show you exactly when he became the United States Senator. That's a very important one, so I should never leave that out. But that was a very important one. Now, we got to see that. Now, the next one, you're going to take 7 and 8. You're going to take 7 and 8, because here you can't add 8 and 0, because you already had the 8 shown. You got the 7 and 0. You already got the 7 shown. So you got 2 zeros. So you take the 7 and the 8. You take the 7 and the 8, and what you get, 15. You got 15 years. So you take 15 years, and you add it to 1998, and that gives you 2013. And what was 2013? 2013 was the second year that Barack Obama won his second term as president of the United States. That is how sacred geometry is used when it comes to political figures. It comes to your own personal life, comes to other people's life, and I have used it on more than just political individuals. But right now, I want you to focus on political individuals, because once you know this, and I would always tell someone, if you was in politics and you want to know what kind of chance you got, you need to know this. Okay? If you was a company trying to back someone and you wanted to know whether they had a chance to win, you need to know this. I'm going to give you a good example. Right before I knew it at this depth, I'm going to give you a good example. We had an individual who ran for the mayor, Mayor Payton. I think that was his name. Payton before Brown. Yes. Mayor Payton. And individuals asked me, was Mayor Payton going to win this race? And I used mythology. Because, see, history repeats itself, and people don't really know that. History repeats itself. So I used mythology. I had Sister Corinthia Young, Evangelist Corinthia Young, Prophetess Corinthia Young. I had her to go do some research. And she went and did some research. I give all them names because she deserves them. She is real smart and sharp. She went and did some research on Payton. Okay, she went and did some research, because I said, I don't know what to tell these people. I don't know what to tell these people who I think may win, etc. But it was for me to tell them, but I didn't know how I was going to do it quite yet. So I had her to do research. And she ran some research on this particular individual, and he was a king of Assyria at the time. He was a king of Assyria at the time of Jonah, right during Jonah time in that era. And so when she did that work on that, because see, the Bible got a lot of stuff to deal with our time. But when she went and did that work, bam, I studied the characteristics of the guy that was running an election. I studied the mythology of the guy. When she brought it, bam, it hit him. He was the one. So I kind of liked this black guy named Glover. I liked him. He seemed like a pretty good guy. But once I seen Payton in mythology, I had to pull up. And I had to say to him, I like Glover, but Payton is going to win. And who won? Payton won the race. See, this is what I'm talking about. See, God already got the thing started up, but he needs us to learn it and to be able to see what's really going on. The next race after then, we had another race after then. It was a black guy. Okay, in Jacksonville, Florida, having a black mayor. You know, people know Jacksonville. I like Jacksonville. It's a nice looking town, et cetera, but it still got some strides, some leaks and boundaries to go. It got some stuff to go, but yet it's working on it. It's working on it. Okay, now, this individual, when I told them a black guy was going to win the race, they looked at me like, ain't no black man going to be no mayor of Jacksonville. Just like they said, well, no black man going to be no president of the United States. You know, when I told them that. Okay, I even wrote it in a book. I wrote it in this book on page 127 that you will have a black president in the very near future. The writing was written before 2006, but the book was produced in 2006. And you could go on the internet and you could get this book entitled Judgment of America by Louis Jerome Armstrong. Now, and also the one, got to pull up this one, in Black Nostradamus Prophecy of America's Future. This one talk about Donald Trump in there, okay? Now, this was before they got to be where they are. That first book written in 2006, the second one written in 2009. Now, going back to the black mayor. And the black mayor, I told him that this guy, and I told him the characteristics. I had a person, I don't want to call her name. She's a political figure, local political figure. And she came to me and she said, well, I'm running in this race and I heard about you and I want to know, can I win? I told her, you want to know the truth or you want to know what you want to hear? I'm going to tell you both. You know, I'm going to tell you the truth if you want to hear it, but if you want to hear that you could do a good job and I could say, well, okay, try your best. I could leave it like that. Try your best. You know, but I wouldn't. She said, I want to hear the truth. And I told her exactly, I didn't tell her the person because it was several black guys, but I told her the characteristics of the person, and by me telling her that, she automatically basically knew who I was talking about. And the guy won. He won, just like I said. I had many preachers came to me and asked me, what do you think about it? And I said, I told them, and they said, you sure? I said, well, hey, look, I'm going to tell you what God is revealing to me. They said, okay, let's check it out. And when they found out, boom, 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 among some of those individuals flew just like that. It was already flying and even flew more. Okay, then after that one, I'm just telling you a general idea of what be going on. Okay, then after that, I told them that before he even got elected, I said he will only have 4 years. Before he even got in the seat, I said this individual will only have 4 years because the mythology showed him as only having 4 years. He would only have 4 years and that's all he had. The next guy came on the scene 2 years before the black guy got out. The next guy was coming on the scene and I told one of my friends who we talked about things like this. I told him, I said, now it's another guy coming and he's a Republican and he's sort of like a Republican boss and he's going to be the one to come and take Brown out of the seat. And I said, and he's purposely going to be coming for that particular thing to take Brown out of the seat. And I said, I don't know who he is, but I know he's a Republican. He's a white guy. He's a Republican. Okay, it ain't always I know whether they black or white, but I just took for granted that he was a white guy. I ain't seen no other black one stepping there because they didn't use the phrase to point to the black one. They used the phrase to point to the white guy. And so I told him about that. And just to show, the guy came. And the guy is the mayor of Jacksonville at this time. Okay. So this thing is real, what I'm trying to say. And I just ran that across you to let you know that this stuff is real. You can know who's going to be the president. You can know who's going to be the senator. I even did Rubio name. I wanted to test it out and see on Rubio name what Rubio did and why he won it and et cetera in 2010, and it hit it. And then I found out that when he was running for the presidency, his name wasn't even beat nowhere, no spots for him in that. And I didn't even focus on Rubio, and history showed it. Donald Trump came and blew him out of the water in his own state. So we got these things that's happening. Now, we're going to go to Donald Trump. Donald Trump had 2 careers. If you study Donald Trump. How much more time I got on this? Oh, I'm good. Donald Trump had 2 careers. Donald John Trump, born June the 14th, 1946. And you do his number, you do it the same way. You use English to measure to get the name, on his name to get his number value. Don is 14, John is 13, Trump is 22. Now this is a very important name for anybody in political power. especially as he's the president, to have this number 22. It's a very important. You can take 7 and divide it into that. You're going to get pi, 3.14 plus other decimals. And this is what happened here. I'm going to get into that, but not now, not today. I'm going to talk about that some other time. Go on my website. Go on the YouTube videos, and you'll see me talk about that as well. Now, but Donald Trump number, the 14th is his date of birth. His number is 63. You divide 1.618 into 63, you get 38.936954. Now, what I did, I added up his first career, and this is what the numbers is. You could go and check it. 1996 plus 38. Which is this number here. One of the spots is 1984, his other spot. You got to take, then you take 1984, and you add plus 12. His other number is 12, and you get 1996. 1994 plus 14. 1984 plus 14, you get 1998. And 1984 plus 15, you get 1999. That's his first spot. What we're interested in right now is his career spot now when it deals with the political environment. Now, we know that he helped lobbyists out and helped many candidates out, even at this time with his money, influencing the races. But now he's down here making decisions with himself being in the race. A lot of people think that Donald Trump, first time he ever wanted to enter into a presidential race was when he won. That's not true. That's why you need to study the history of these individuals and know what's going on. If we take now Donald Trump's name to get his second part of his career, you had to use the golden ratio differently. You still got the 63 that you got up here. But you take the 63 now. You don't divide the golden ratio into it. You use the golden ratio inside it, with it. So you got 63.1618. And that's the way you use the golden ratio in here. 63.1618. And you get the second half of his career. Now, when we get that, you're going to get 1946 plus 63 is 2009. Now, if you look at 2009, you're going to see that he made a political move in 2009. You take 2009 plus 1. Now, remember, once you add this up, you got to take this number and move it over here, okay? 2009 plus 1, 2010. Study about that. You're going to see it. All these things I have studied, and I know a little bit about what was going on in his life at that time politically. 2009 plus 6 is 2015. Now, if we go back in a little bit of time in history, because he just became president a few years ago, in 2009, that's when he was making this decision. See, them guys when Tex started in 2016. He started 2015 trying to push this thing and make his decision for his run for presidency. Now, 2009 plus 7 is 2016. What happened in 2016 in Donald Trump's life? 2016, Donald Trump won the Republican nominee. Now, I'm going to talk about Hillary Clinton too, because some people say, well, Donald Trump ain't winning because Hillary Clinton had 3 million more votes than Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton was sparking at the same time in 2016 that Donald Trump was sparking. That's why Hillary Clinton did that. But you got to see what history have chose Hillary Clinton to be in the political arena. And once you see that, then you'll know why it happened the way it did. See, God deals with us as well. And he used the number system for us to see ourselves and see how he deals with us as well. That's why he used that word tetragrammaton. See, math is a language mathematics is a language of God as well. And most people have no clue to that. And I'm trying to introduce you to the language of God that you can see how to understand this. You got to look inside now to know more about God. And Tesla was trying to tell us that as well. Jesus was telling us, let this mind be in you, which is also in Christ Jesus. The Christ mind, that consciousness, that Christ consciousness, that thought necessary to get you to that next level. We are spiritual beings that come to this earth to live a physical experience. And we got to know that. We are more than this. They're more than this physical. And this is the thing that we got to attach ourselves back to, that we are more than just the physical. And this is very important. This is what Tesla was saying in a scientific way. He was telling you, go within. Your true self is within. Now, when we begin to see this, we'll see that at 209 plus 7, now you got to see how you get that. Now you got here, you got 63, you got 1 is there. You got 6 is there. You got 7, 6 and 1 is 7, and you got 8 is there, and you got 8 and 1 is 9. So these numbers here is to be used to get the number system that deal with his name, his life, and his election, so we can see more of it. Now, we begin to see that 2017, what happened in 2017? 2009 plus 8 equals 17. That was the year Donald Trump got to be president of the United States. Now, most people say, well, they put him there. They'd be very angry with Donald Trump. I'm not, when God put a person there in his spot, that person don't have to be the best person in the world for God to put them there. That person in their life, before they came to the planet, earned a right to be where they at. And they got to prove themselves to be worthy. That he have an opportunity to prove himself to be who he's supposed to be. Now, it's a Donald Trump to do a good job or fail, but he have a right to be there. So don't say, well, God put him there and it's God's. Yeah, it's God's will for him to be there, but it's his will and his relationship with his divine growth to whether he's going to be the type of president he need to be or the type of president somebody else want him to be. And you see that. So we got to understand that. He got a lesson he got to learn in the midst of this also. He earned the right to be where he at. So I'm not here to say, oh, I wish he wouldn't have won. I wish they'd have put Hillary Clinton. No, he part of the mythology. I can show you Donald Trump not only in this, I can show you him in mythology. I can show you Barack Obama in mythology. So it's very important to start studying inwardly. Start studying these things. Start studying Hebrew typology. Start studying this stuff so you can know this. But right now, I'm not trying to preach to this audience. I'm trying to teach this audience, whether you believe in God, don't believe in God, whether you don't believe in all this denominational stuff or whether you don't. I'm trying to show you sacred geometry. Sacred geometry is not a part of no religious fold. It's a part of the reality of this universal order, reality of what we call God. And that's very important to you to know. Now, you see, 2009 plus 9, 2018. Now, we're approaching 2018. Now, what been happening? Many people talking about, well, we want to impeach Donald Trump. We want to do this. And I said, then just like, okay. Now, and I tell them quick. Now, after 2019, because these things ready even over into the next year. After 2019 is the only chance you're going to have to do anything to Donald Trump. And you may not be able to do it then. But 2018, he's going to go through 2018. And what been happening? Everything. They've been bothering everything about it. I mean, the media done came, the women's organization done came, and then they don't even come at him so much. They come at the people surrounding him. And people around him falling, but he ain't falling. And why he's not falling? Because it's his turn. It's his time to do what he's supposed to do. Whether he do it good or bad, it's his time. So that's why he's sitting there and like water rolling off a duck's back is rolling off Donald Trump. Okay? Now, and we got to see this. Now I want to talk about Hillary Clinton because we got women, ladies in the audience, and a lot of times we have more ladies in the audience than we have men in the audience. I wanted to talk about that because women are concerned about having their first president. Women are concerned about a lot of different things. Women have to be careful of the power that they are attaining. Women have to be careful of the power that they are attaining. Women are some very powerful creatures. People, I shouldn't use the term creature. Women are some very powerful people, okay? Women are gods just like men are gods, okay? But women have to be very powerful because God put that power in you. Men like to do stuff here, there. Women are still there. Most women are more, a lot of women are more focused. That's why at the time of the Equal Rights Amendment, when blacks were getting certain rights and stuff like that, and they, after Martin Luther King, they just dropped their arms and stuff like that, thought everything was fine, and the women's came right in. And I got to say that certain women came in and just overshadowed them, but they fulfilled mythology, okay, at that time. So we got to understand that you could take yourself and you could run with that power, but if you run out of the will of God, you could mess your family life up. And a lot of family life ain't doing so good. See, you may gain on this end, but you're losing on the other end. So you have to understand that. I'm not saying that women have to be in the house, but women have to be in a place where they could be with their spouse if necessary and focus on that and be able to work together so they could keep the house right, because you can have all the material wealth you want. If the house ain't right and you ain't right, ain't a good feeling. Believe me, I have learned about that somewhere back down in my lifetime and knew. You can have money galore, you can have this and that and that, but you don't have a happy household, you ain't got nothing, okay? You ain't got nothing. People come outside and say, hey, let me use your boat. Why don't you charge your boat? You're not using stuff like that. Why don't you do this here? And your mind is sitting down wondering what the heck is going on with your life. So we got to see that as well. Now, I want to go back to Hillary Clinton. So you got to understand that Hillary Clinton was a woman who had been used to embrace the political arena. She's been there to embrace the political arena. She first came in when she was the president's wife. See, in the White House, you need a man, you need a woman, a strong woman beside. And Hillary Clinton was that strong woman beside Bill Clinton, okay? And we got to give her credit that she just didn't start. She was already in the White House. See, most people think, well, she already had power. But people don't realize that because they say, well, Hillary Clinton was the president. Yeah, he was the president, but that woman was smart. That woman was smart. She was a lawyer. She knew what she was doing. She was a smart woman. So they had two smart people in the White House, although Clinton was sparking at a certain time, and in his spark, he had a right to be where he was. Now, but we're going to talk about Hillary Clinton. I want to go in one time, 2011, 2016. Now, she was a senator, I think, in California. But the main thing, Hillary Clinton, 2011, Hillary Clinton was a Secretary of State, the second woman Secretary of State, I believe. And she had power at that time. Now, 2016, what happened? This is the time when she won the Democratic nominee, and she became the one that had the most votes at the end of the day. Now, but she always been someone embracing. And what did she do after 2016? She embraced. Now, they could have made a big deal out of this race. But she embraced the Democratic process and sat back and let Donald Trump win on. And she did it with class. Wise, smart lady. And you got to see that. Don't sit there and worry about when the woman going to be president and all that other stuff. You know, just start focus on how this stuff works. Deal with it. That way you can understand. That way, when the process come again and a woman need to be, that you're going to make sure that she fit with the mythology and she fit with the spark. That way you could rally behind her in a right and proper way. Okay? For that time to come. For her to be here. People don't realize one of the most powerful women in the world right now is the Queen of England. See, that tell you the woman got power. See, no one is seeing the power of the woman. The Queen of England is the most powerful woman in the world. She's over a lot of men. She owns Canada. I ain't going to say the United States because I don't want to get into that part there. But she owns Canada and some of the other Commonwealth. I don't want to deal with the United States and all that. I don't want to get at that. Because that's getting into that other part that I don't want to deal with. I'm dealing with election voting. But see, we got to see that the woman have tremendous power. And we got to see that. Don't think that she ain't where she's supposed to be at, because she's going to influence politics in 2024 at an older age, because she probably just 1 year different than Donald Trump, I think. but she's going to influence politics even in 2024 and 2028. Even that, she's going to influence politics. I mean, that she's going to be running office, but she's going to be a big influence in all this. And we got to see this. Now, this is something I want to give the people because the election's coming up, and you could take your candidates and you could use this and get a general idea what is going on. And once it's over with, you look at what you did, then you can see the reality in this, how this sacred geometry fit with our day-to-day life and it comes to the political process. And you can also do this in other individual life as well. I did it in a guy that had just retired, and he just, look, babe, I said, look, normally, man, it costs about $10,000. I just pushed him off so he get it from around me. Normally it costs about $10,000 for me to do something like that. He, oh no, I ain't gonna give you $10,000 and you my friend, so do it. And I did it for him, and he seen it, and he was like, wow, man, I didn't know this exists like this. I didn't know this stuff is so real like this. And he was really surprised. So I know from experience that it works. And you need to test it and try it out and see how it works with your candidates this coming election. And you'll know basically that God and this universal order of this power that God has put in place is there clicking with everything. It's ticking with everything. And we need to see that. And he used the golden ratio in many different ways to show this. This is the golden ratio, my people. This is the golden ratio here that we was talking about. This is English gematria here that we was talking about. This is what they call tetragrammaton, the language of God. And we need to see God in more than one way, and that's what Tesla, and that's what Einstein and individuals trying to tell you. You need to see God in more than one way. That way you can understand that God got a handle on all this, and we need to know that. Now, I'm going to say a prayer, and I want you to send your donations to Cross Rock Incorporation. It's called the Rising Sun, and we want you to be into the higher knowledge now. We want you to be into this fifth dimensional knowledge that's coming into our consciousness, that we could be able to be the people we need to be. And we want God to bless your life. Bless your life that it be more abundant. And we say this, that you need to be able to get the book, Black Nostradamus, Prophecy of American Future. You could go to Amazon, you could go to Barnes & Noble, or you could go to Author House and get the book, Judgment of America by Louis Jerome Armstrong. And also, always have your Bible that you could be able to know as we give our lectures, you can follow up and you can see how you can see the sacred writings and the sacred knowledge that God has placed in there at this particular time in human history. When we say this, have a beautiful day and God love you. Thank you.